Elon followed me. I need his rocket babies. Lol. Oh my god, no way. That's so awesome. Good old Christian family values. Cares a lot about families and fatherhood and then making sure that, there's a large population growth, often very hyper-focused on growing the population of the United States. One specific kind of the population, I'll have you know. That's obviously become a bit of the front page news lately as more stories have been revealed of his secret children that he himself might not even know that he has. I'm going to get into, obviously, the receipts and some of the stuff, but I wanted to give a little background into the whole family man perspective.
As a dad, I can't help but appreciate the new administration's commitment to American families. And it's inspiring to see Donald, JD, and Elon being proud fathers in public. Soon after taking office, Trump got to work implementing policies focused on the good of America's families. Policies like pulling children out of schools and churches to deport them, attacking funding for basic needs like Medicaid and SNAP, a food benefits program, as well as education and student loan funds, and establishing America as a two-gender nation. While these policies might sound distinctly bad for families, we've been assured that this is all for the greater good of creating a prosperous future for America's familial units and especially our children.
We will take care of children in this country.
But guys, clearly none of this is about the flourishing and safety of families. Rather, these policies are firmly establishing Trump's authoritarian agenda. And this emphasis on the family is just a smokescreen to push through policies that actively harm vulnerable groups like trans kids, queer people, working families, and teachers. Even more insidious is that this call for a return to the family is really a call for the reproduction of white families fueled by racist paranoia like the Great Replacement theory.
Illegal immigrants, which I think have a very strong bias to, at least everything I've read, it's a very strong bias to vote Democrat. The more that come into the country, the more they're likely to vote in that direction.
So today, we're going to look at the history of the American family and talk about how both white supremacy and neoliberalism have used the family to perpetuate an agenda that is more fascist-friendly than it is family-friendly. Before I keep going, I want to tell you,
Yeah, I mean, if you want family-friendly policies, you should enact policies that help families, like paid sick leave, getting childcare, adequate childcare. How about free childcare for families? How about adequate programs that enable families through, I don't want to use the word welfare. It seems to have really negative connotations, but that seems to really help working class families who can't afford to pay the bills. And, programs surrounding that would make a lot more sense if you actually legitimately cared about helping families and helping, parents who have children and stuff like that. Oftentimes, they seem to only be hyper-focused on making sure that women don't have reproductive health as an accessibility option. That's more what they seem to be really, really dramatically focused on.
Look that good. But now we're using story blocks, so our lives are easier, our production process is faster, and our videos look great. So to get started with unlimited stock media downloads, it family by women. Now, while childcare once involved fathers, siblings, extended family, and neighbors, it was now solely the domain of mothers. And while this all emerged in Europe, Federici notes that colonization exported this vision of family across the world. Indigenous peoples were attacked and violently forced to conform to European norms around family and, crucially, property. For example, within British colonial occupied areas, including the budding New World, only people in certain kinds of heterosexual relationships were legally able to own property. And this all made the idealized white family an essential building block on the journey from colonization to the American nation. And this mythical white family has been a key factor of American history and culture ever since. Now, a lot of the trad wife or return content that you might see today appeals to an idealized image of the perfect nuclear family of the 1950s. But this ideal was always overtly racialized. For example, black families often included working mothers who, also carried out care labor, plus extended communities which shared in that domestic labor. Now that meant grandparents, cousins, uncles, and the community at large all pitched in on care work. But because of this, they were often demonized as a source of national disunity. The Moynihan Report from 1965 argued that black poverty was the result of matriarchy.
I turned my husband into a trad wife? Congratulations. You're destroying the patriarchy, one husband at a time.
Fatherless black families, which served to emasculate men and destroy the family. The supposed failure of the black family to conform to a rigid definition was, and still is, understood as a threat to the entire nation.
When you don't, as a black father, get involved in your little girls' lives or your little boys' lives specifically, then you're adding to the lost generation.
Through the media of the 1950s and 60s, we can see anxieties about threats to the nuclear family were understood as threats to society as a whole. Consider the Addams family, first broadcast in the 1960s. In contrast to their neighbors, the ghoulish Addams family is an extended network rather than just a closed nuclear unit.
Keep telling you the Addams are not an average family at all.
The show's central irony is that while their existence is monstrous to American WASP society, the Addamses are the only family who seem to genuinely love each other, and this is a theme that reappears in the 90s films. Furthermore, both the 60s and 90s renditions of the Addams family satirized fears about immigrant families undermining societal norms. The Addamses are signaled to be relatively recent immigrants, whether they are being coded as Latino,
Mamacita. We forgot our ancestral land, Spain,
or Eastern European. Their ethnicity and form of family makes them other to their white neighbors, demonstrating how the national ideal of the nuclear family is predicated on the exclusion of the other. Now, while the Addamses are accepting of everyone, they threaten the clearly demarcated lines of the nuclear family that serve to protect the nation. Now, the title of the 1993 film Addams Family Values is a direct response to Republican use of family values to exclude gay people, just as politicians today invoke
I'll be honest with you, I never thought of it that way. Thank you for that analysis. I never thought I'd be discussing the Addams family or watching discussions of the Addams family when talking about the rise of fascism and how the nuclear family plays into that.
Family values in their attempts to legislate trans people out of existence.
Transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely.
When Musk or Trump push their family credentials into the limelight, it's not an innocent, take your child to inauguration day. It's a demonstration that they uphold the family values of American white supremacy. But this ideology doesn't lead to policies which actually make having a family any easier in America. If anything, it's the opposite. And I can actually speak to this. I didn't realize until I had kids how expensive it is. You gotta be lucky to have a job that even lets you take the time off. And then if you gotta work, what you gotta do to afford the kid, you have to do daycare or preschool, which is so expensive and there's like no government support for that. So it's very hard to square all of the family values stuff with the way in which having a family feels almost financially impossible these days. Now, if the
not to mention even the idea of like giving birth in the United States, the fact that some people have to pay for that out of pocket, because like you don't have that in Canada. It's paid for under the public healthcare system, but that'll bankrupt you in certain states. I saw that it ranges anywhere from like $10,000 to places like New York, for example, is like $20,000 out of pocket. It's just like, it's such a cruelty that people like Elon Musk consistently push this idea that we need to have more population, we need more families, we need more people to have kids. And it's like, is there any way to support them though? Because like if you don't have like really good medical insurance, or you're not in an area where you're actually gonna get some kind of, you know, financial support or any kind of support, government support or something, then you're gonna be paying $10,000 just for the birth. And then in addition to that, you're gonna have to pay for tons and tons and tons of other expenses in addition. Like that's incredibly expensive.
Concept of the nuclear family feels a little bit out of date. Well, that's because it is. Its prevalence has been declining since the 1970s, and alternative forms of family have been increasingly normalized. But that doesn't mean that this ideal has declined in power. In fact, the rise of neoliberalism reinforced some of the most essential family values. In the early to mid 20th century, American welfare programs like aid to families with dependent children worked on what's called a family wage system, redistributing income to families based around the nuclear family ideal, thus encouraging that specific form of family. Now, this might sound good in theory, but in practice it proved problematic. As Melinda Cooper argues, the family wage system upheld the nuclear family's gendered division of labor while policing the boundaries of what a family should look like. Black men were often excluded from the benefits of the family wage system, and black women were demonized as drains to society, welfare queens who threatened the family ideal.
In Chicago, they found a woman who holds the record. She used 80 names, 30 addresses, 15 telephone numbers to collect food.
If you didn't know, this is the origins of the racist welfare queen, basically motif that Republicans have been pushing ever since Reagan.
Food stamps, Social Security, veterans benefits for 4 non-existent deceased veterans' husbands, as well as welfare.
As theorist Paul Gilroy argues, family is not just the site of cultural reproduction. It is also identified as the mechanism for reproducing the cultural dysfunction that disables the race as a whole. Now, the anxiety around welfare queens partly drove the neoliberalization of the system, which according to Cooper, transformed welfare from the family wage system to a reignition of a Victorian poor law tradition. Essentially, the neoliberal state shifted responsibility for family care off of the shoulders of the state and back into the realm of the family.
Reagan's vision of America sparked a conservative revolution. Its motto, "Government is not the solution to our problem, government is the problem."
And the welfare opportunities that did remain, like temporary assistance for needy families, well, Melinda Cooper points out that—
Which, by the way, I know it's reductive, but you got to imagine, like, if you are very pro-business, you're rich, or basically you have libertarian values, and you just want basically people to provide for themselves and not have any kind of social safety net or government or all that kind of stuff, what better way to help out the corporations, the elites, the billionaire class, the corporate class, than suddenly removing the only obstacle to preventing them to destroying society? Because it's like, hey, by the way, there's a whole bunch of measures in place that don't allow, say, company X to pollute all they want, right? Called the EPA. It's like, okay, well, we got to gut that. Oh, okay. Well, then we should probably have some kind of financial agency in charge of preventing banks from doing really predatory loans on vulnerable communities, because they're going to do that. And then that could lead to, say, a second housing crisis. It's like, no, we're going to get rid of that one too. Get rid of the Financial Protection Bureau. And then it's like, but if you do that, if you just let off all the guardrails, it turns out that the corporations, they don't just kind of like manage themselves. It's just not how it turns. It's like, this has never replicated itself. It's the same thing with Reagan's kind of like trickle down economics. Like, in theory, it sounds great. You know, if we just let the most prosperous amongst us make as much money as possible, they're eventually going to redistribute it, because that's how, if we make the rich richer, that'll make a rising tide lifts all billionaires kind of idea. But it turns out in practice that just never fucking happens. So as long as we have policies in place that allow that to exacerbate, they're just going to become more infinitely powerful, consolidating their power, and then use it to treat us all like shit. I think maybe there should be a government. We should kind of pool together and use our resources to prevent the worst among us from just taking advantage of everybody.
Continued to facilitate the state's policing of the family norm. And the U.S. pursued an extreme form of this policing with its attacks on women's abortion rights. The U.S. doing extreme forms of policing? Who would have thunk? Now, part of the change from the post-war Fordist regime to neoliberalism was women who were previously housewives entering—
Yeah, true. Like Ducko was saying, don't forget corporations love socialism when it financially benefits them. Oh yeah, then they love welfare. I'm all about tax breaks. I'm all about huge subsidies. Those are amazing.
The labor force. Suddenly, women who could afford it could escape the patriarchal financial dependence on the family wage. Yay, you did it. Feminism won. But this wasn't the end of the family. Instead, these kinds of welfare regimes disciplined women into performing both waged labor and household domestic labor. The state had a vested interest in keeping women housewives, even if they were still workers.
The Labor Department says on the average day, 49% of women do housework like laundry and cleaning. That's compared to just 19% of men.
And to this day, studies show that women who work full-time still carry out a majority of domestic labor. Alongside these state methods, neoliberalism utilized economics.
See, right there, if you want some chat advice, everybody, if you want to be happier and healthier in your relationships, make sure that you're not letting just one partner in the relationship do the majority of everything, especially if they also have jobs, because like everyone likes to relax, just like everyone also doesn't like to be in a filthy den. So if you share responsibilities, you could probably lead to more happier outcomes. Everyone will be happy. You'll be more relaxed, and it's nothing more emasculating than being insecure and being like, well, I'm not supposed to be doing that. That's not becoming of a man to clean. Men are filth.
For example, household debt is disproportionately held by women due to factors like lower incomes and cost of caring for children. And household debt has spiraled during the emergence of neoliberalism. Now, this debt, coupled with the reinforcement of caring responsibilities and the lack of publicly provided welfare options, often traps women within family conditions they cannot easily escape. And as queer relationships become more accepted in America, it's often only in as much as they are monogamous and child-rearing, reduplicating the central features of the nuclear family. It's an care programs. I don't know. Now, this includes—
That's actually a really good point. That actually brings us to my next one. But I was saying the same thing. It's nice that Wisecrack is so leftist these days. I mean, I didn't always know they would be. I was like an old school Wisecrack fan. I used to watch their videos back in the day because they had a lot of really funny ones, usually like really good, recaps of fiction novels, lots of great philosophy, deep dives, stuff like that. Lately, they've been pumping out like a lot of really good lefty videos on the modern era. And speaking of the modern era, we got to talk about Elon Musk and his many, many children. MAGA influencer Ashley St.Claire claims in a new legal filing that Elon Musk acknowledging being her baby's father by texting her, quote, "I want to knock you up again." Musk has so far refused to directly address St.Claire's claims, since she publicly broke the baby news last week, but she's made several indirect posts about the situation on X. Now, St.Claire has sued the Doge director for his sole legal custody, slamming him as an absentee father in the process, people reported. This has been a whirlwind. Everything just happened so goddamn fast. Like, I think it was last week, maybe around the same day, she announced publicly that she had to actually leak to the world that she is the mother of Elon Musk's child because some terrible, horrifying journalist was about to reveal that information, so she has to do it first. So she did that, and then it was kind of like an announcement that was mixed in terms of how the right received it. Some people were very happy for her, and then some people were like, oh, well, may you both have a wonderful, happy life together. Other people were like, what the fuck? This is like, y'all aren't married. This is an abomination. It's a sin before the eyes of God. How could you let him do this? And then other people were taking things even further, like Laura Loomer, trying to say that, she's a gold digger. She's obviously just trying to like get his money. This is all part of some ploy to try and get Elon Musk's sperm. Which that part always I found weird because like it's not as if he's not just voluntarily offering to spray every wall of the White House with that shit. The man is just throwing sperm at anything that moves. So I don't think it's necessarily that she was trying to ensnare Musk in a trap, but that's the latest narrative of all the stuff that's coming out. We have the receipts though. All right. Ashley St. Clair will now sue Elon Musk for sole legal custody of their son. Ashley St. Clair is suing Elon Musk for sole legal custody of their infant son. St. Clair filed a petition of custody with the New York Supreme Court on Friday, February 21st. In the petition, St. Clair said that New York is the home state of the child who goes by RSC. User Magazine was the first to report the news. The author, 26, alleges in the petition that Musk is the father of the boy, who was born in September 2024. The exact date has been redacted in the filing. She claims that Musk was not present at RSC's birth and, quote, has met him only 3 times and has no involvement in his care or upbringing. Although she stated that Musk's RSC's father, she'd also filed a paternity petition along with the custody petition. In the petition, she says that she and Musk, quote, began a romantic relationship in or around May 2023, and the two had intercourse in January 2024, gross, at which time RSC was conceived. St. Clair says that Musk, quote, acknowledged parentage of the child in various written correspondences, including a text message exchange after RSC's birth. St. Clair that she sent Musk a photo of her and the newborn shortly after his birth, to which she claims Musk responded, I look forward to seeing you and him this weekend. It sounds like he's being very careful with his words here. Not like, my boy, my beautiful boy. Just like, I look to entertain both of you at some period into the future. Like, ooh, very, very vague. Sounds like you're just not trying to actually incriminate yourself in any way here, sir. She included a screenshot of the alleged exchange in the petition. When discussing safety concerns, she claims that Musk said, if I make a mistake on security, RSC will never know his father, which she says also acknowledges the parentage. Okay. So, here are the leaked text. I get credible death threats every day. This is Elon Musk, by the way. I don't know if you know this, but he loves kind of like pushing this narrative that he's constantly under threat. When he first took over Twitter and he started actually trying to block this account that was tracking his private plane flights, which are publicly available information. If you have the serial number of the plane itself, you can actually track the flight logs and just publish those. This is not doxing in any way, shape, or form. It's publicly available information. The account was just using publicly available information to show where he was flying to and for how long. But then he said that was actually showing real-time assassination coordinates, allowing people to try and assassinate him, which was also really weird. He also posted this weird video where someone was like apparently like showing up based on the coordinates, which was just turned out to be completely fake. He then started deleting the accounts of any journalist who would report on that story because Mr. Free Speech was just suddenly being, caught in a massive ass lie, and that would have been deeply embarrassing for him. And then he got a lot of backlash for being, Mr. Free Speech, while at the same time banning all these journalists like Matt Binder, and then unbanned all their accounts subsequently, and then kind of just pretended like none of that ever happened. But anyways, apparently he's still saying that. So I get credible death threats every single day. I'm number 2 after Trump for assassination. Wake up. This is not the time for sentiment at the expense of safety. If I make a mistake on security, RSC will never know his father. That's just really weird. But anyways, that's why the father spot on his birth certificate is blank right now. Now, E. And why he has my last name. Necessary for now. Only the paranoid survive. He is high on K. This has got, like, I imagine, how the fuck are you this paranoid? Unless you're just paranoid about being caught having to take responsibility for yet another one of your children. That sounds like what is actually way more frightening to him than even the possibility of being assassinated. He's just doing everything in his power, like, be serious, you have no idea the stakes. She's like, what are the stakes, sir? The stakes of me having to acknowledge that child's existence. Only the paranoid survive. I understand. Apologies if Eva's text upset you. There's been incredible discretion used here, as will continue to be. The threat level will reach insane levels until the election is decided. Loose lips sink ships. That's to the mother of his child. Being like, hey, by the way, so the father of the child is still blank on the birth certificate. Any chance we want to fill that in with your name, etc.? Do you know the assassinations I am dealing with right now? The stakes have never been higher. Oh, sorry, I wasn't talking to you about your potential election or the assassination or anything like that. I just, he's got my last name. Do you want to come by or something like that? It's like, loose links. No, loose lips sink ships. So that's funny. Thank you for leaking that. St.Claire says Musk eventually met his son on September 21st, 2024, and spent 2 hours with them, and then for 1 hour the next day. She says the last time Musk saw RSC was on November 30th, 2024, but only for 30 minutes. I see that he's kind of like penciled it in, it's like a whole bunch of things you got to do during the day, and then it's like possible illegitimate love child. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And then, in the one photo she provides, he's holding the kid, but clearly just on his phone the whole time tweeting. Apparently, I saw a post yesterday that he's tweeted over 224 times in the past 24 hours, not counting replies. Those are original organic tweets. So Polymarket Studios has to be making a killing. Whoever said that Elon Musk is going to be tweeting way more now that he's kind of embroiled in this, it is your child, it's not my child, it is your child kind of ordeal. But 224 times, like, I have absolute perverse brain rot, internet sickness of the highest degree. I don't know if I've ever posted that many times in a single day. 224 times. I mean, again, that is an obscene amount of 10 times an hour. Like, what came to your mind? What could possibly be so interesting the world had to know every 10 minutes of that fucking entire day? Every 10 minutes, just and I guarantee most of them are probably about like immigration rates, Muslim, rape gangs, the problem with the nuclear family, black crime rates. Like, that's probably the majority of what these tweets are. But he is apparently completely unhinged and just tweeting an obscene amount. Ashley St.Claire has filed a paternity and customs petition to protect the best interests of her child. Her representative Brian Glick tells People in an exclusive statement. She has made every effort to collaborate with Mr. Musk before taking this step. She has no further comment on the contents of the petition, which speak for themselves. People has reached out to Musk representatives and attorneys. St.Claire has requested the court issue a summons, warrant, or order requiring the respondent to show why the court is not to enter a declaration of paternity, an order and support and such other, and further relief as may be appropriate under the circumstances. In her attorney's affirmation, St.Claire's lawyer, Karen B. Rosenthal, writes, this firm has been dealing with the respondent's lawyer and representatives, Alyssa Rower from Rower LLC, in an attempt to resolve the matter privately. The law firm has offices in Manhattan and Westchester, New York. However, his representatives have been non-responsive in the past to resolve the outstanding issue, and the respondent has indicated that he no longer wishes to resolve the issue of custody and support amicably. Rosenthal explained that due to Musk's role in the Trump administration, having him served at the White House would not be possible due to the high level of security there. Musk has welcomed 13 children with 4 women, counting the alleged child with St.Claire. St.Claire's lawsuit comes one day after Musk's former partner and mother of 3 of his children, singer-songwriter Grimes, pleaded with him on X to stop ignoring their child's medical crisis. I will be getting to that in a second. We got to look at all the angles here. So I want to see if there was the other text. So, again, Ashley claims Musk, quote, acknowledged parentage of the child in various written correspondences, including a text message exchange after RSC's birth, which she says amongst her proof of the suit. Ashley's rep, Brian Glicklich, so it was People Magazine, I guess spelt it wrong. Glicklich told TMZ earlier this week, still a strange name, she had been respecting Elon's wish to keep their purported baby news private, but things took a turn when an unnamed tabloid reporter started hounding her, hinting that they were mere hours away from dropping the big story. Milo, the chaos agent of the right, has posted text messages Ashley St. Clair plotted for half a decade to ensnare Elon Musk, and Elon Musk replied to this. So Greg Price says, he's got a kid with a woman already. Seems unlikely to work out. Ashley said, well, he actually has 7 kids and goes through women pretty fast. And then Elon Musk said, whoa. Which I guess this is probably what started the whole spiraling. I'm assuming because like at this point, like, you know, if you were the mother of the child witnessing everything that's happening online and seeing not only is his like legal team not responding to you, he's not responding to you, he's not validating or, you know, even acknowledging the fact that you have publicly stated you two had a child and the child is his, and all he's doing is responding to, you know, the far right accounts that are basically tarnishing your name. Yeah, at that point, you'd probably want to contact your lawyers and be like, so what's going on here? It doesn't really seem like he has love in his heart or any interest whatsoever in being involved with us as a family. So what's my next step? What do I do now? The only thing Elon's publicly said so far is whoa. I wonder if that's going to be admitted in court. They're going to sit there. It's like, no, he did acknowledge the situation. He publicly said whoa. Yes, but whoa could be interpreted to mean many different things, right? Was it an affirmative whoa? Was it a negative whoa? What was the connotations of the whoa? Yes, he didn't even say concerning. I mean, you would wish for concerning or one of those like bullseye targets. Instead, it's just whoa. Under an ex-post claiming Ashley has been chasing after him for years. Obviously, with 13 baby kids, this is the only baby mama drama Elon has faced. We'll get to the Grimes stuff in a second, but I still want to stick to this for 2 seconds because I think there's some more. So this was the original statement that she released. Here's some of the other stuff. So Laura Loomer decides to involve herself into the personal lives of others and this baby drama, but here she is. Wow. This whole baby mama drama was premeditated from start to finish. Ashley literally texted Isabella is moody in May of 2023 when she claims her affair with Elon Musk began, and she asked for a good ex-caption so she could, quote, seduce Elon, and said, I need his rocket babies. I agree with Laura Loomer. I wasn't going to post these, but now Ashley St. Clair has leaked her private signal messages with Elon Musk. How dare she? After lying and saying she wanted privacy, here's more evidence. Ashley planned to baby trap Elon. She sent me these text messages in May. Oh my, things get even spicier. So here's the leaked text messages from Ashley St. Clair to yet another right-wing personality, apparently proving that she was trying to ensnare Elon Musk and steal his sperm in one way, maybe metaphorically. Elon followed me. I need his rocket babies. Lol. Oh my God, no way. That's so awesome. He 10,000% saw my moon landing tweet. Look, I'll take one for the team, seduce Elon, and get in a rocket to see what's up. Oh yes, you must. Elon Musk replies, yikes! Why are you pretending to learn about all this for the first time as a third party? He's like a little kid in the corner, like, whoa, yikes! Elon, this is you. This is about you. This is the woman you inseminated with your semen and your penis. That's you who did this. Yikes! Oh, what a loser. She wanted privacy, but here's more evidence. Ashley planned to baby trap Elon. She sent me these text messages in May. Elon replies with, whoa! It appears that I have been the victim. I had no idea. The texts aren't even that bad. I'm not a fan of Ashley, but it's not like sinister behavior. Bro, this is funny. Yes, haha, love it. The pressure is on now. I have to be funny. Elon, follow me. I need his rocket babies. Lol. Oh my God, you must for the sake of society. I need a caption to seduce Elon Musk. Thinking about the dangers of AI. Lol. Everyone involved is gross. Everybody. Yikes all around. And there are no heroes to this story, unfortunately. That applies to Grimes as well. I am about to show you the Grimes story. The only people who are innocent in all of this are the children, okay? The children did not ask to have these bizarre, malicious, supremely strange, weird, and frankly disgusting parents. So they are innocents in all of this. But as for all of the participants, you know, from Ashley St. Clair to Grimes, they've all known what they were, you know, literally getting in bed with here. Elon Musk has been a monstrous piece of shit for a while. Probably one of the largest far-right figures active today, trying to, again, destroy democracy, push in these kind of weird technocratic monarchies, and do it all for the benefit of his white supremacist views, which, go all the way back to his days in apartheid South Africa, alongside the rest of the PayPal mafia. Horrifying individuals all around. And that includes Grimes, by the way. I know there's a lot of people online who are trying to do this, sympathy for Grimes. She's trying to do what she can. She has no power in the situation. She had no idea he was going to be like this. But ultimately, you kind of did. Elon Musk started being extremely transphobic while they were still together, and she actually publicly multiple times was trying to be like, this is not what's in your heart. Oh yes it is. The man is a massive ass bigot. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I can't say this because I've never had a personal relationship with him, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't very secretive about a lot of these beliefs. Like, they're just not all coming out of nowhere, and it's just all like, oh yes, he witnessed the true evils of the woke mind virus and then decided that he had to become a hardcore white supremacist transphobic piece of shit. Nah, he's just always just been this asshole. It's just maybe he hasn't been publicly as bad as he is now. He feels a lot more brazen and free to talk to, or say whatever he wants. But I'm sure privately he was just as horrifying. So no. I'm not here to say that, all the people involved, including Ashley St.Claire, are completely innocent. But that being said, the supreme loser of the story, without question, is Elon Musk. And you can't on one end constantly try and do this whole thing where it's just like, we have to have more kids. We need more population. The family unit is so important. I care deeply about families. I care deeply about, like, he posted this racist ass meme that had some weird ass PragerU tier fucking, statistics on it, about how, welfare has destroyed the black family unit and it's separated, black fathers from their kids and all this other shit. Completely debunkable. I mean, if you want to look into why there are a lot of families in America specifically that have missing fathers, 1 in 3 adult men who are black in America will be institutionalized at some point in their lifetimes. It has a lot to do with, platform after platform, policy after policy that has come at the hands of, again, Nixon to Reagan to Bill Clinton, pushing for more and more measures that are supposed to be tough on crime, supposed to be able to tackle crime specifically, but seem to be continuously exacerbating disproportionately the amount of incarceration that black men are experiencing in America. And so, he would post something like that, and it's a racist fucking meme. It's a racist fucking made up, bullshit way of viewing the world. And still, he's attacking fatherless black families while himself is completely absent in the lives of his own children. Just one of the most monstrous hypocrites. He just spending all day talking about how important kids are. The only thing he cares about when it comes to kids is using them as props to try and downplay the severity of what he's trying to do in the real world. He can't be that bad. Look, he's got a little kid on his back, and he's just sitting there like this the whole time, talking about how soon Doge will remove every single lever of but this kid, he's got a little kid. He's got to be cute, right? Yeah, completely willing to advocate on the behalf of children, but never take care of them. That brings us to this, which is even more fucked up. Grimes is taking to Elon Musk's social media platform to try and get in touch with her ex, publicly revealing one of their kids needs urgent medical help, but Elon won't call her back. The singer-songwriter posted on X Thursday afternoon in a desperate attempt to get the attention of the platform's executive chairman, asking him to please respond to her to discuss their child's medical crisis. Grimes says, "Please respond about our child's medical needs. I'm sorry to do this publicly, but it's no longer acceptable to ignore the situation. This requires immediate attention. If you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can so that we can move forward on solving this? This is urgent, Elon." Grimes writes, "I'm sorry, we just read that. I'm not giving any details, but we won't respond to text calls or emails and have skipped every meeting, and our child will suffer lifelong impairment if he doesn't respond ASAP. So I need him to fucking respond, and I need to apply public pressure, then I guess that's where we're at." When pressed for details, Grimes says she won't divulge anything on X, so, we all know what we know. Worth noting, Grimes and Musk have 3 children together. Their son, and recently made an appearance at the White House. Their daughter, Exa Dark Siderel, and Techno... These are the people destroying the planet. I still cannot get through this one without laughing. Technomechanicus. It's not clear which child Grimes' post is referring to. We've reached out to Grimes and Elon, who dated on and off from 2018 to 2022, about the alleged medical crisis. So far, no word back. Of course, Grimes isn't the only woman who recently turned to X to try to get Elon Musk's attention. Just last week, Ashley St.Claire, a frequent Fox News guest, posted on X to ask Elon to discuss their own child, claiming she gave birth 5 months ago, and Elon ghosted her in the aftermath. Musk publicly questioned the paternity of the child, though he didn't hash anything out on ASC online. Unclear if he's reached out in private. Elon's a busy guy, but it sounds like Grimes needs her ex to put everything else on the back burner and help their kid. No, TMZ, you fucking trash rag. It's more that Elon Musk should be taking responsibility for the children he already has. Not just constantly trying to impregnate every single woman who's willing to have relations in the biblical sense with him. But yeah.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Watching everyone, this independent series is made entirely possible thanks to our patrons. It was produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimongi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Bohem, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, and Words Greenwood. Not to mention all the other patrons you now see on screen. We couldn't have done this show without you. If you can help support the show, please check out patreon.com/the Serfs to unlock bonus secret episodes as well as get the content before anyone else.